Well, I'm Marcia Boswell with Kansas Wheat, and I'm here with Tracy Zorian.
Close. Zirian.
Zirian, okay.
Yes, Zirian.
And you guys are custom cutters. You're here in Kansas, and you're trying to get ready to harvest some wheat. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've seen so far?
We haven't seen a whole lot yet. And your key word was try.
Mm-hmm.
So actually with our situation, we were hoping to get started soon, but by the looks of the ground and everything, it's going to be probably a bit of time yet.
You think a couple days?
Hoping
A couple days. And right now we're in Chase. We're outside of Chase, Kansas, right here, kind of in the central part of the state. I know there's been a little bit of cutting in south central, but there's a lot of wheat that's left to cut. The wheat here that you're getting ready to cut, does it look mature?
Yeah,
it's mature and ready. So what's keeping you out of the field?
The wet ground.
The wet ground.
The rain that just keeps coming and coming and coming. So yes, as soon as it would dry, I'm pretty sure we would cut.
So can you tell us a little bit about what it's like to be a custom cutter and kind of follow the harvest through, and what does a wheat harvest season look like for you?
Well, a typical one would be getting started in Texas and working our way north to Montana, but the last several years has been nothing typical whatsoever. And it seems like we've been trying to struggle to get a stop started in the southern part and get our way worked, but with the weather being that it just keeps throwing a curveball at us every year. So it's just a day-to-day what you do. It's just, you just never know anymore.
So
we used to know where we were going. You know, we would know we were going here, 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 and here. And I don't know if it's because the weather was different or what so much, but it just seems like now you just never know.
So you used to start in Texas and harvest in Oklahoma before you made it to Kansas, and you haven't done that this year.
No, this is our first stop.
This is your first stop, and you have a couple of different stops that you'll make while you're in Kansas.
Right.
And then kind of see where you go from there. You told me earlier that you've already lost a few acres to hail.
Right, we lost our job in Colorado to hail. We found that out about a week and a half ago. So we know that if we get this job started and done, then we'll move to Garden City, and then from that point we don't have anything until we get to Montana.
And you were also telling me about something kind of interesting that you're doing from inside your combine cab.
Yes.
You're going to have a camera set up. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yep. If you can see Grant up on top of the combine, he's putting a antenna for us, and we've got a combine cam that's going to be installed inside the combine, and it'll be on anytime and every time that we're in the field and the machine is running. You can sit right next to me and watch the wheat as it comes in the header. And there is an audio, so sometimes you never know what you might catch.
So it sounds like it would be something really interesting for people to follow along, whether they're originally from Kansas or if they've never been to a wheat field before. So a lot of interest there in finding out a little bit more about what it means to harvest wheat.
Yeah. And then there's a lot of people that have been farmers or on a harvest crew that'll turn on and just sit there and reminisce about the different times and things that they've had experiences with.
Very neat. So what's your favorite part about wheat harvest?
Well, that's a good question, because it's kind of transitioned from a lot of things since we got started. It used to be where it was a whole family affair, and our 4 girls traveled with us on the harvest, and they've all unfortunately grown up and now moved on to their own lives. But that was always fun, because seeing harvest and doing the things that we used to do through their eyes was always, it was just a lot of fun. Now with this, me and Jim, I would say it's the people that you meet. It's the people that you're used to seeing and the friends that you've met along the way. It's just something that just is our lifestyle.
And you probably come back to the same farmers year after year.
We try to.
A lot of times.
Yep.
So you get to meet up with old friends.
Yep.
Yep.
And we get up to Montana, and that's most definitely one of my favorite spots. We've been there for over 30 years, and so we've got a lot of friends up there. It's like going back home.
So what's different between harvesting wheat in central Kansas versus Montana? Is there anything different about the wheat, really?
Well, the cutting conditions are different. I mean, you've got Kansas flat ground here, and then when we get up to eastern Montana, it's rolly and rocky and more challenging. You're starting to go into more of the fall temperatures, and the the temperatures are a little bit cooler at times. Oh my gosh, though, it can be really beastly hot up there, really bad. It's just, our industry is so fortunate to get to be something that moves through the entire Midwest and get to experience all of that differences, that it's a great industry for that.
So right now you're kind of waiting for the ground to dry out, twiddling your thumbs a little bit. What do you do in some of that downtime?
Well, like today, we're
Installing
installing combine cams. And Jim's around here somewhere. He's probably looking to see what he can fix on the machine or maintain, or just checking things out. We've got trucks that we need to make sure that are in good maintenance, working condition, so as soon as that grain's ready to go, we don't have issues with that. And there's always something to do on downtime.
So how long does it take you? Let's, for example, a field that let's say it's only 160 acre, a small field. How long will that take you with your machine here?
Good days and good cutting conditions, we could have that almost completely done by the end of the day.
Okay, so about one day in good conditions.
Yep.
And how long will you, I don't even know exactly how many acres you have to cut right here, but you told me earlier maybe like 5 or 6 days here, or?
We usually kind of as a rule, we're in one spot usually 10 days to 2 weeks. It just depends on the weather. It's just so many variables that you never know.
Yeah, and if you're going to Garden City next, how soon will that wheat be ready to be harvested? And you'll have another 7 to 10 days down there, 2 weeks down there.
And then of course there's always what's going to come through that western sky, with more rain and hail. You never know.
So ideally, what do you need right now in terms of temperatures or weather to get this harvest going?
No humidity, about 100 degrees and some wind. And I think we could maybe get something going.
We've got a little bit of wind going today. It's not quite 100 degrees, but it's warm out here.
And you've got humidity, though,
but I
think.
think the humidity is a little high right now. But,
yes.
So Grant's working on the camera now, getting that in. And if people do want to follow along during harvest and watch you in your combine cab as you're cutting wheat, where do they need to go to watch that?
They need to go to allaboardharvest.com. And there's a specific link right there at the top of the page that says Combine Cam. Click on it and it should take you right to see what we're doing.
So is your combine the only one that you'll be able to watch on there? That's the one.
That's the one.
So easy enough, just go click on that link and you'll be able to follow right along with Tracy.
Yes, yep.
All right, well thank you so much for your time today and
You're
for
welcome.
telling us a little bit about your harvest crew here.
You're welcome.